Hi there, and welcome back to this second lesson where we're going to look at what it takes to reach an advanced level of English. And before we start, if you want to activate the subtitles for this video, go ahead and click on the little CC icon down at the bottom. And this is the next part of our mini course that we're doing this month, all about achieving advanced English through virtual immersion. And today we're going to dive into part two, what it takes to reach an advanced level of English. And we're going to talk a little bit about this notion of top performer. So a top performer is someone who takes action to improve themselves. It's someone who accepts that they don't always know how to do it. They accept that sometimes they need help to do it. And a top performer often, goes out and works with a mentor or a teacher or a coach to have, the plan that they need to reach their goals in the most efficient way possible. And it's someone who invests in their own learning. And when I say invest, I mean this could be time, which is your most valuable asset. It could be your effort and your energy and your emotions. And it could also, of course, be money. But the idea is about investing something in learning new skills. And, there are things that top performers do not do. They do not stay blocked by fear of mistakes or inertia or I'll do it later. They realize it's scary, it's a commitment, but they do it anyway. And they don't make excuses like, I don't have time for this, I don't have the energy for this, I can't do it because I have work or I have family. And I understand that those are all, important parts of your life, but a top performer is going to look for a way to balance those things and to make the changes necessary. And top performers also understand that they don't have to be 100% perfect to be excellent or to be very good at something. And they don't think that they can do it all alone. I mean, for me, just for my business, for running, for learning things, the best progress that I've made is when I've worked with someone to help me. So let me ask this question to you. Do you have the mindset to be a top performer in English? Only you can answer that question. But let's look at, today, why do you struggle to master English at the level that you want to have? First thing is, you're not an expert in language learning. And that's fine. You're probably an expert in something else, which I'm not an expert in. But language learning, that is not your expertise, and it's not Google's expertise either. Sometimes you search for Google, and we'll look at that later. Perhaps right now, you lack the structure and the consistency which allows you to regularly achieve your objective, to keep up your motivation, which means to continue learning and to see improvement step by step. And, maybe you don't know what will give you the best results for the least effort. Everyone is super busy. Everyone has work deadlines, family commitments, and lots of things. So you really want to find where can you get the best results for the least amount of effort. Now, we talked about, you're not the expert in language learning. That's my job. It's not Google's job. And, sometimes the first place we go when we want to learn something is, of course, Google. So we type in something like how to master English. And if you do this, you might get a huge amount of results. Nobody has time to go through even a tiny percentage of those results, to look at the ideas, to evaluate, are they good? Are they good for me? Are they good for me right now? No. So what happens when you do that? Well, I've asked students about this, and they'll say, oh, I just watch one video after another on YouTube, and then I've spent an hour, but I can't really remember the things that I watched. That's not an efficient use of your time. Or they'll say, I try to learn by myself. I listen to music, I watch movies with subtitles in English. That is a good exercise, but it's not enough to get you where you want to be. Or they say, I Googled it and I'm overwhelmed by the millions of resources available. And I understand, because you just don't know what's good and what's good for you. And so you just don't do anything because you don't know what to do. So a little mindset change for you. Instead of saying something like, oh, I can just find the resources on the internet for free by myself, is to actually say, I want to be more efficient. I want to do this faster and better. So I'm going to get the help from an expert to guide me to the right resources for me. You'll save time, you'll save energy, and it's just much better. Maybe you lack structure and consistency in your program. Maybe you don't have a regularly scheduled time when you do things. You're kind of doing things randomly. You're saying, oh, I can watch just Netflix when I get home or on Saturday afternoon. Oh, I can do a little bit of Duolingo. That's nice. Maybe I'll, pick an exercise in my grammar book and I'll do that. And all of these I'm not saying that these are bad things to do. They are good things to do, but it's kind of random and it's not consistent and there's no method or strategy there. And that means that you're spending all this time, but you're maybe not getting the results that you would like. So another top performer mindset change is not to say, the more I do English, the more I'll improve. More is not always better. What's better is to have a structured plan, which is much more efficient than just doing random things. And you can do a lot of different things, but you know why you're doing them and how that is contributing to your progress. Now, also, maybe you just don't know how to get the best results for the least effort. I'm a big fan of the podcast of Tim Ferriss. He talks a lot about optimal minimal, and that's what we're looking for. How can we get optimal results for minimal effort? We're not saying I don't have time, because we're using our time very wisely. The little time that we have, we're really getting a lot out of it. And this is a nice quote that I found. It says, time is a created thing. To say I don't have time is like saying I don't want to. Because like I said, you probably have a lot of other things in your life, but if something is important to you, you will look at your schedule, look at your actions, and see, where can I find the time to do this thing I really want to do? So what we're looking at here is finding the optimal exercises for you, the right things right now, so that you can spend the minimal time and effort, because that's very valuable and you maybe don't have a lot of time, to get the maximum results. So we're being very focused and very efficient with how we use our time. And if you're not doing these things, it's normal to feel like you're not where you want to be. And I felt this, with running and with nutrition. I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I'm trying things. I'm not seeing results, and I don't know what to do. And I'm not having the results that I want. And this is a totally normal feeling, because you don't have the guidance. You don't have someone, or you don't have a plan that is guiding you directly to your result. And, if you don't have a plan, and if you don't know where to start, you are going to just, lose your time, lose your motivation, and lose your energy. And so for this, I want to give you a place that you can start right now and some exact things that you can do with 5 instant changes that you can do right now to level up your English. And we're going to look at 5, school English expressions that are understandable, but are maybe not so natural. And when you're moving to advanced English, that's, what your objective is, to get those very natural casual conversational things so that you sound like an advanced speaker of English. So we're going to replace 5 of your school English expressions with 5 advanced expressions. And for each one, I'll give you the context. I'll give you, maybe the less advanced thing that you're saying today, which is perfectly fine. It is understandable and it's correct, but it's maybe not the most natural way that we would say it. So if you're on the phone, instead of saying, please wait, I'll find the information, totally fine. The more advanced, the more natural, casual thing is, can you hold on one sec? I'll find out. So you see we've got the phrasal verb find out. We've got that little expression, 1 sec for 1 second. And another phrasal verb, hold on. So can you hold on 1 sec? I'll find out. Another context is in email. Sometimes I see this in my students' email. I wait for your response. Now, this is understandable, but I almost feel like it's a little direct. I wouldn't say aggressive, but it's like, okay, come on, I'm waiting for your response now. And the more natural and the more advanced thing to say is, I look forward to hearing from you. This is the very typical email expression. I look forward to hearing from you. Again, that little chunk, I look forward to, and then that structure, hearing from you. So just put that at the end of your emails. It's really the typical email expression that we use. Another context, a more social context, for example, if you go out to dinner with a client or a colleague or something like that, maybe you want to invite the person, you want to pay for their dinner as, a nice gesture. And instead of saying, I'll pay for this, it's for me, which again, it's understandable. It's not so grammatically correct that it's for me. But the more advanced and natural expression that we would say is, let me get this. So you've got that use of, the verb get, which is often very tricky for students. Let me get this. It's my treat. So let me get this means, let me pay for this in this context. Let me pay for this. And it's my treat. It means, it's my pleasure to pay for your dinner for you. And so that's really that sort of very natural, casual, friendly expression. Let me get this. It's my treat. And the person will be very happy that, you're inviting them to dinner this way. Now, in a more professional context, let's say that you are opening a meeting. You're starting a meeting, and you want to say thank you to everyone who has come to the meeting today, even if they maybe didn't have a choice. But you want to, you might say today, thank you for your presence at the meeting today. Grammatically, it's correct. It does sound a little formal. So depending on the type of meeting and the people, this might, sound a little cold, a little too formal for the situation. But something that's more advanced, more natural, more casual is just, thanks everybody for being here today. And that's just a little expression that you can learn. Thanks everybody for being here today. And, say it with a smile on your face because you are thankful that they have given you their very valuable time. And another, this could be a professional or a personal context because you do appointments in lots of different situations. Instead of saying, can we meet to discuss it, which is fine, it's absolutely correct, but a more natural, casual, and advanced way of saying that is, can we find a time to get together and talk about it? So again, you've got the use of get, which, is very common in English, to get together and talk about it. So just try using that expression next time, you want to meet with someone to discuss a topic. Can we find a time to get together and talk about it? And when you are able to integrate these more advanced expressions into your language, you're going to sound more professional. You're going to be able to easily communicate with the people that you're communicating with because you're literally speaking the same language as your colleagues. A lot of my students, they say, I hear the way that I say things in English, and I hear the way that my American colleagues say things in English, and it's not quite the same. And here, these are the expressions that will make you speak the same way as what you're hearing from your American colleagues. So, here is my take action tip from this lesson. I want you to write one of the advanced phrases on a Post-it. You could do more than one if you want, but start with one. And put that Post-it where you will see it when you need it. So, maybe that's on your computer for emails, or next to your phone, or, in your wallet so you can look at it quickly before you pay for your colleague's dinner at the restaurant. Something like that. And then use it. Just dare to use it. Don't be afraid. Try it. Because the more you use it in a context where you've got that, the environment, the emotions, the real situation, the more you use it, the more it will become a natural habit. And really, speaking advanced English, or speaking English, period, is really just a habit that takes practice. So, in our next lesson, in part 3, we're going to look specifically at the virtual immersion program and how to create a practical, coherent program that gets you the optimal results. We're going to look at that next time, because before I wanted to take you through that idea of top performer mindset to prepare you to set up your virtual immersion. We're going to look at how to integrate that into your schedule, even if you're very busy. And we're also going to look at how to sustain your motivation and your consistency to reach your advanced goals in English, because consistency is key. And to finish off today, I'm going to ask you to please tell me, what is the biggest challenge that is stopping you from mastering English right now? Where is the thing that you're struggling with, that is blocking you? Put that in the comments so I can help you out with that. And then I will see you next time for part 3, which is all about getting the results that you want on your journey to advanced English. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a really good lesson, so I hope to see you then. Have a good one. See you later.